Hello everyone, my name is Dezzy, and welcome back to Kenshi. Today marks a special day in the series as the Holy Nation arc of this Let's Play has finally come to an end. The Holy Phoenix is out of the picture, and the High Inquisitors are all dead. It is time for a new sun to move on to a new adventure, and new shenanigans. This next chapter starts with us going into the Cannibal Plains. The Holy Nation has been out of the picture for a while, which is very nice, but now we have tons of cannibals and fogmen to deal with. Thankfully, it turns out that naked cannibals with rusty weapons are much easier to deal with than fully trained paladins. So the fights weren't dangerous, just numerous, like a bunch of annoying ants that kept bothering me. I ran around the Cannibal Plains for quite a bit, just killing off some cannibal leaders and anyone that wanted to try our fully decked out squad of cybernetic monsters. And on this mighty adventure, where Rain was leading the boys and girls to just kill everything that moved, we stumbled across an old Holy Nation farm. We were just wandering by, and then I noticed that there were some high paladins. Now, this wasn't exactly new. Ever since the Holy Nation fell, there have been old wandering paladins just kind of meandering throughout the desert without a purpose, but this was the first time I've seen them take refuge inside an old Holy Nation marked location. We went ahead and did what we do best and killed off Holy Nation paladins, and inside one of the houses we found an Inquisitor. After searching his body, we found a note on him. And after reading it, we learned that the Holy Nation was preparing to take back the Holy Land with a secret army. I was so intrigued by this and immediately sent out Knife to go find out where the hell this secret army is being formed. I checked Narco's Trap, the old Holy Nation fortresses, and eventually I checked out the Lost Library, hidden in the mountains next to Rebirth, and found the enemy. Knife looked out at a massive army of paladins, all training. This was way more than I ever expected. I didn't have a solid number on how many paladins were down there, but it had to be close to 100. There was tons of these guys. And it was at this moment that I thought, where the hell were all these guys during the Battle of Blister Hill? Knife looked down at the paladins and she did a big comedy gulp, and then she went all the way back to base and told Ryuni about the massive army she found. Ryuni didn't waste any time, and he immediately rounded up the Sun Squad. We couldn't let these loyalists get any more time to prepare. Every day that rolled by meant more paladins joining the cause and more gear being acquired for their war efforts. The first thing we did was finish Luce's training to become a full member of the Sun Squad, giving her the mandatory cybernetic limbs. There you go, Luce. Don't mind the phantom pain, that will never go away, but at least now you have super duper cool robot arms. The next thing we did was train everyone for the fight. Even just a few extra points in our combat stats could mean the difference, and with how many fucking paladins were down there, I wasn't cutting any corners. We took shifts rotating out different Sun Squad members, and everyone got a few rounds with our very old trusty training dummy. This one's been alive for quite a while, so everyone a round of applause for this skeleton. He's been doing great. While this was happening, the first signs of the Holy Nation's retribution were seen, as a raiding force of lost paladins marched to our city. Led by Inquisitors, the paladins attacked, but thankfully without their standard gear, they were much easier to dispatch. It was pretty obvious that the Holy Nation currently was not very strong, as half their army didn't even have the standard Holy Chest Plate. The new sun one-shotting most of the invaders in this attack. But even with their lack of gear, I was still scared because there were a lot of loyalist paladins, and as a Warhammer fan who knows all about swarm tactics, it doesn't matter if the paladins are ill-equipped when there's a wave of 100 of them. After fending off the raid and finishing the training, we got everyone together and headed out. Again, I wasn't waiting on this. I wanted these guys out of the picture as soon as possible. We brought along Stone because he was our best ranged combatant, and as much as I wanted to charge in swords blazing like a Khorne berserker, I understood that there were way too many enemies to do that safely, and I would have to use some long-range cheese. We didn't get the help of the Sheks or the ninjas, which in hindsight was a mistake because having the extra bodies would have been great, but I guess my own pride was telling me to solo this all by myself. And you guys are all gonna see that my ego was definitely at the detriment of my soldiers. Arriving at the secret base, we first cleared the mountain pass of wandering paladins, and then I had Stone get to work. Like a sniper, Stone started picking off the paladins. I had him focus on the high paladins and inquisitors mostly, since they're obviously the highest threat. The rest of the Sun Squad formed a wall further down the mountain to keep Stone safe while he sniped. After a solid 10 to 15 minutes of sniping and fending off the paladins, Stone ran out of ammo, and he had 10 stacks of bolts on him. And despite killing 20 to 25 paladins, there were still so many left. I was honestly thinking about retreating because I was like, there's no way. The Sun Squad are good. They're very good, but there is an orc wog down there, and I don't want any part of it. But after taking a couple deep breaths, I realized something. The Sun Squad are not cowards. We are going to win. We went all the way down the mountain and charged. This was the hardest fight I have ever done in Kenshi. We got swarmed from all sides by paladins, and I'm pretty sure everyone in the Sun Squad went down at least once. Even Ruka and Hamut got knocked to the floor, which just flabbergasted me. The battle went all the way through the night and into the morning of the next day, and we were still fighting. Every time a Sun Squad soldier killed a paladin, 2 more would take his place. We carved our way to the main HQ building, and inside there was a priest called Hadriel, or Hadriel, High Priest. He's a look at him, look at this little fucking fool. This was the man who rallied the troops, the one trying to reinstate Okran's empire. He was protected by a squad of 10 inquisitors. This guy had a better bodyguard force than the Holy Phoenix. This was an insanely hard fight because my soldiers were already very wounded from fighting 500 paladins outside, and now we had to take on 10 inquisitors. I was incredibly confused how no one was dead at this point. Seriously, everyone went down at least once, and there was tons of paladins just dogpiling us, and now we were fighting 10 inquisitors. The fact we didn't lose someone is just insane luck, and probably thanks to the insane amount of micro I was doing, as the minute anyone went unconscious, I immediately bandaged them up. But finally, we defeated the High Priest and ended the last of the Paladin forces. Just look at this battlefield. It was a massacre. We took what we could from the battle, but these guys didn't have a whole lot, which isn't a surprise, and Ryuni found a group of skeleton prisoners. We freed the skeletons in an act of kindness, and also redemption for all the skeletons we've killed back home, and left the hidden base. We were all on the brink of death, but we did it. The Holy Nation was now officially gone. Total victory was now ours. The Sun Squad admittedly limped home. We didn't mop the floor with these guys, I can fully admit that. But after some bed rest, the boys and girls were back on their feet. And we took the High Priest all the way back home with us and showed him what happens to Holy Nation leaders. With that, the Holy Nation arc is now officially over, and we can finally move our attention to the next big threat for New Sun, the man-eaters of the Cannibal Plains. The cannibals were being quite the nuisance, as they kept raiding our base every other week, and also they were just being huge dicks. Every single time I went out on a quest, I would just get attacked by loads and loads of cannibals. So I got fed up. I rounded up the Sun Squad a couple days after the fight with the Paladins, and we went to Dead Cat. Dead Cat is the capital of the cannibals. Because these guys do still have a hierarchy, and this is their biggest city, and it's also where their leader lives, the Cannibal Grand Wizard. I actually downloaded the Cannibals Expanded mod, so he had a very, very fancy set of armor on him, and he had a very, very cool weapon. The Sun Squad went ahead and charged into Dead Cat, and you know, we'll just play a nice little battle scene for you guys again, and this will show you how much of a pushover cannibals are compared to the absolute atrocity that was us fighting the fucking Holy Nation like 5 minutes ago. I just gotta say, if the Sun Squad weren't already amazing fighters, after that run-in with the Holy Nation, they were nigh unkillable. Us fighting the cannibals at Dead Cat was like a walk in a grassy park compared to the absolute brutality of the Holy Nation fight. The Cannibal Grand Wizard went ahead and charged us, and he had a very cool special modded weapon, and we just killed him. Yeah, he wasn't that great of a fighter. He looked really cool, but it turns out looks don't get you far in the world of Kenshi. You know, I was actually expecting to make a longer cannibal video, you know, for Kenshi, but they just kind of fell over to us. We picked up the Cannibal Grand Wizard. Ruka took his armor and his weapons, and now she's got some very cool new drip. And we went ahead and took the Cannibal Grand Wizard back to a prison cell, got our money, and went back home. And with that, the cannibals were basically dealt with. We went around to a few more cannibal camps and killed off the last of their leaders, and, you know, there was lots and lots of fights, lots and lots of cool fights, but they all played out the same, which was the Sun Squad just tearing them apart, just ripping them apart. The entire cannibal part of this Kenshi series was so boring. I don't even have a script for this part of the video. Like, this is all just improv because it was such a nothing burger of a Kenshi arc. Like, we just walked into the cannibal plains, killed the Grand Wizard, killed a bunch of cannibals, left. Like, there isn't even a script, right? The page is blank. The page is blank. I'm telling you, everything I've told you guys, that's what happened. So yeah, there's the Kenshi cannibal arc. Done and dusted. So I guess this thumbnail I made with, you know, the cannibal and the meat, it doesn't really work for this video anymore, so I guess I'm gonna have to change it for this one instead, because the Holy Nation were way more important in this episode. Yeah, come on, cannibals. I'm disappointed in you guys. I've downloaded a mod and everything to make you guys cooler, and you still sucked. But with that, the cannibals were out of the way, and New Sun now was looking for a new opponent. And let me tell you, this next arc may be the best arc in the entire series, as the Sun Squad was going to take on the United Cities. It's been a long time coming, and these fat, greedy, disgusting nobles have been in power for far too long. It was time for New Sun to take the fight east. But to watch all that unfold, the beginning of the next Kenshi arc, you're all gonna have to wait until next time. Thank you all so much for watching this Kenshi video. Thank you guys for the support, as always. I was going to release a New Sun lore video where we went over every single character and I gave you guys a little bit more backstory to all of them so you could get more attached. But it's taking longer than I thought, mainly just because it just hasn't really clicked for me yet, but it will be coming out eventually, don't worry. But next video is going to be either the Darkest Dungeon video, the Dunkest Dungeon video, or the Cult of the Lamb video, so stay tuned for that. But as always, thank you guys so much for the support, and I will see you all next time.